up guys, we're down at the trails. We're going to get a run in this morning, but I thought I'd make a video just giving out all my race day tips. So doing the Gold Coast Marathon this weekend, I know a lot of other people racing this weekend, so I'm going to try to put this video out tonight, hopefully help a few of you guys out with just some race day stuff. So we're going to do a run first, and then afterwards I'm going to run through all my tips with you guys, so stay tuned for that. Alright, that is the run done. I'll leave some details up over here. It was just an easy run, 8 kilometers, 5:14 pace, and heart rate was 140, so just keeping it easy. I'll give you guys a few details onto what other running I'm doing this week, but we're gonna head home. It's pretty cold actually this morning, so yeah, gonna head home, have some breakfast, then we'll go over all these tips for you guys. Alright guys, I am back home now. I'm in the office, the usual spot where I have a chat to you guys pretty much about everything, where I can just go into detail. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to give you guys some of my race day tips for any race you have coming up, whether it's a 10k, half marathon or marathon. Now, your race day preparation is going to be a little bit, well, I won't say the race day preparation, but the weeks prior leading up to a race is going to be a little bit different for, say, 10k, half marathon and a full marathon. So for the 10k and the half marathon, you probably would have done a taper of around, say, a week. Now obviously everyone's different with a taper as well, so for some people you might have chose to do like a 2-week taper for your half marathon, but for more experienced runners, usually for a 10k or a half, it's just the week of the race where you kind of really ease up on the training and kind of lower the volume a bit. But for a marathon, usually it's a 2-week taper. Now usually with the taper, like I just mentioned, you will drop a bit of volume with the running. Now everyone's different. Again, this isn't a one size fits all for taper. And some people prefer to not run at all in that week leading up. The thing is, when you're tapering, you're not going to lose fitness. If you stop running for a week leading up to the race, you're not going to lose your fitness completely. That's the whole reason of it. The reason of a taper is to freshen up, to make sure that you're completely ready to go on the day. And like I just mentioned, everyone's different. So I would recommend obviously doing a correct taper, just seeing what's right for you. And I would also recommend still doing some race pace efforts at the start of the week when you're on race week. So for me, if I was going to do a marathon and my marathon was a sub 3 hour, then obviously I'd want to do some efforts around 4:10, 4:15 pace earlier on in the week. Now that might be, well, I'll just let you in a little bit on what I did kind of yesterday. So we did 2x2k, so we did like a 5 kilometer warm up, just easy, and then we did 2 kilometers at your goal marathon pace, little jog float in between, and then another 2k. Now for some people that might be too much of an effort, like the week of a race, and that's why kind of everyone is different. Now as you're approaching the weekend, which is usually obviously when a race is, you should be carb loading. Again, it's going to be different for half marathon and a full marathon. Half marathon, you can probably usually just carb load the day before. Full marathon, usually it's 2 or 3 days before you'll start to carb load. Obviously same thing. Again, everyone's different. Everyone has preferences. Now with your carb load, you should be also trying to load sodium. So having more electrolytes leading up to the race the day before, even that week, pretty much the start of the week. Obviously don't have a massive amount early on in the week, but build up towards the weekend, increasing more and more sodium into your body, so when it comes to race day, you're not going to cramp up, you're not going to get fatigued because you're just dehydrated. And another thing with obviously like having a heap of sodium. You don't want to be having like just water. That's the whole point of electrolytes and sodium, is like to make sure you're hydrated, you got plenty of salt in your body. So don't just go drinking a heap of water and just expecting that to be fine. You need to load your sodium, you need to load your body with sodium. Now, once you're pretty much carb loaded, you're sodium loaded, it's the day before. Usually, some people prefer not to run at all the day before. Otherwise, some people like to just do like a 15 to 20 minute shakeout run. So it's pretty much just getting the body moving. Now, after that, after your shakeout run, would recommend just staying off your feet as much as you can the rest of the day. So don't go exploring, like if you're somewhere, if you're racing somewhere and you're exploring, so you're doing like 15 to 20,000 steps the day before. Wouldn't recommend that. Just try chill out, stay at home, and pretty much get your head in the game for the race as well. So the day before the race, you obviously want to prepare everything. Now, if you are doing the carb loading, all that type of stuff, obviously you're going to be eating a lot of food. Now, what I would recommend is have your last meal around 6 p.m. Good time is around 6 p.m. Try get to bed around 8 or 9 p.m. Now, if you're nervous as hell and you're restless all night sleeping and stuff, it's not the end of the world. You won't be the only one that's like that. It is what it is. Wake up early. You'll be okay. Once the adrenaline kicks in, yeah, you won't feel tired at all when you're racing. So don't stress too much about that. But try have that last meal at around 6 p.m. That way it can digest a few hours before you head to bed, and then also during the night it's got plenty of time to just digest through your body. So when you wake up in the morning, you can quickly like hydrate, have your other food that you're gonna have, and then you can go to the toilet, and you won't need to go to the toilet in the middle of a race, because you don't want that, because that's precious time that you're gonna waste. So usually the night before a race is also the best time to prepare pretty much everything. So the gels and fuel that you're gonna be taking, your shoes, your outfit, and pretty much the best time to pin your bib as well. It's always good, if possible, get your bib before the race day. Don't try get it in the morning, because then you're going to have to pin it the morning of a race, which is not ideal at all. So try get everything prepared the night before, so in the morning you don't have to worry about that type of stuff, and you're all good to go. So all of that type of stuff should have been sorted out the weeks prior throughout your training and all that. So you should have, with your long runs on the weekend, you should have tried different gels, different kind of clothing, shoes. You should have a good idea a few weeks out from your marathon, exactly, or whatever race you're doing, that you know exactly what you're going to be wearing, you know exactly what gels you're going to be taking and at what times and all that type of stuff. Now the key obviously of the race isn't as much the day before or the actual day, it's the weeks prior, and just making sure that you're well prepared, you know what you need to do, and that will have you going into the race a lot more confident than just winging it and just changing things up on the day. One of the biggest things you don't want to be doing on race day is changing things and trying new things. You should have that all sorted out well before the race. Now, another thing sometimes people forget is make sure everything is charged. So that means your phone, your watch, your headphones, all that type of stuff. If you're someone that listens to music and you depend on music for a bit of motivation, then there's the worst thing that you could have is flat headphones when you go to race on the day. So the night before, or even a couple days before, just make sure all your electronics are charged, and then also you want to get some good photos and stuff afterwards, so make sure your phone's fully charged. So my very last tip is just reflect, especially like the night before and in the morning when you're at that start line. Just reflect on all the hard work that you've kind of done, and just like put yourself in that mode where it's like, if you have a certain time, just think about, like, there's going to be a lot of thoughts during the race as well, which this is going to come up, but while you're standing on that start line, just maybe close your eyes for 5 seconds and just imagine yourself like how you were in that training, how hard all that training was, the early mornings, all that type of stuff. You're finally there at the start line, and it's time to give 110%. Don't go into the race blasé and put yourself down or anything like that. Make sure that, see, it's not always about running a PB. Like, one of the best things you can, and best mindset you can have is, I just want to run and walk away from it that day knowing that I put 110% into it. Now, if you stop halfway and you walk, then you're probably going to get to the finish line, you'll walk away and you'll probably be like, oh, actually probably could have gotten through that, but I was a bit weak and I walked. So really just put yourself in a mindset where it's like, and that may be a small goal for you. That might be like, I'm not gonna walk at all this race, I'm gonna jog, and it might just be a very slow jog, but I guarantee if you get to the end and you've smashed that goal of not walking the whole race, then you're gonna walk away feeling $1 million. And it doesn't matter about any time or anything like that. Everyone's on their own journey during the race. No one's competing against each other. Obviously, you got those guys at the top, but for a lot of us general runners, it's just about doing the best we can. So they are my tips, guys. I hope this video helped you out a little bit. And yeah, make sure you like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully I haven't chatted too much crap right here. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Catch ya.